I was going up for a header and the other player hit me right in the back of the head.
I had to like hold onto the wall when I would walk for a couple days, and it was horrible.
We've had players that have been out for significant amounts of time and gone through symptoms where you just feel awful for them.
And I know if he's anything like me when he grows up, he's going to want to be out there on the field. I want better protection for him than my generation had.
What connects these individuals? Concussions. Something that has been in recent conversation, especially in football. But what most people don't know is that female soccer players are more at risk. Behind football, soccer is the leading cause for concussions. And according to cleartoplay.org, female high school soccer players suffer 40% more concussions than males. That's 29,000 annually. And for one of these players, Alex Dugan, concussions are all too familiar.
My first concussion was from getting hit in the head like several times. So I would wake up and was so dizzy and it was black. I finally said something to my mom because I was like, that's not normal. But it was like a few days. My parents always say, don't let your kid play goalkeeper because you're always constantly getting kicked and smacked in the head. It's just you're diving at people's feet. It's constant. And what am I going to do? I'm an athlete. I'm taught to push through it and go. And then my final concussion was the worst concussion ever. I was seeing black. I had a player help me up. I was the only goalkeeper. And my coach said, you be careful what you tell the trainer. And I just remember thinking, I feel like I'm going to throw up. And you're telling me to be careful with what I say to the trainer? This is my brain. That was the first time I really thought, this is serious.
What people don't understand is that the future is just living. And I think living in general, if you've had the head injuries, it's going to make everything way worse. And it could take that one time to cause that big problem, and it could affect you for the rest of your life.
Janelle DeBaca, former player and current coach, also learned from her concussions. Lessons she now teaches her players.
Basically said, screw it, I'm not really going to consult the trainer, I'm going to play my last game. And then I was taking the headers and I was kind of feeling a little sick, and then right at the end I took one and I just fell over and I was just kind of like, oh, I can't even do this anymore. And I think I kind of learned the hard way that I shouldn't have let that be in my control, because I think if I would have just had that one concussion in the first place, as opposed to having two within 2 weeks, I think it would have had way less effect on me. And it's good for me to know now as a coach. If I were to know someone did have concussion, I would be more careful and I wouldn't let them take it in their own hands and just be like, hey, I'm fine, other than seeing a doctor or being completely cleared, because I wouldn't want what happened to me to happen to them.
One medical professional shares how females are more at risk.
In any sport, the reason why you get a concussion is because the brain moves around within the skull. It's not from the actual impact itself. The female neck is just a little bit weaker than the male neck in general, and so that's the reason why, again, because of that shifting that they have within the brain within the skull, what causes them maybe to be a little more prone to having concussions than a man. That's the part that people don't understand, and that we're trying to educate coaches, educate the players, and trying to at least do something to make the sport a little bit safer.
I think from an overall soccer coach's perspective, there's more and more attention and demands and protocols being passed down even to youth coaches out there. All sports have something you have to learn and develop, and it's part of becoming a better athlete, and I think it still helps develop the person as a whole. A big part of it's education, teaching, and development and technique. Football does it and wrestling does it, but what other sports actively do neck strengthening exercises? We do. And we've added that in, and we've actually increased it this year. So I know we're on the right path.
Continuing on that right path, a new technology company has created their own solution, something that goes beyond coaching technique and strength training.
47% of athletes who sustain a concussion don't self-report any symptoms. So we want to get those players off of the field, and we felt that a visual light indication was the best way to call attention to those players.
This visual light indicator is called the Fit Guard, and it's a mouth guard that measures the force of an impact to help coaches and trainers determine if an athlete has endured a concussion. Different colored lights reflect the severity of the impact, with red being the worst.
You can use our smartphone application to program in your age, gender, and weight, because the research that we've done has shown that males and females have a different sensitivity to concussions, so we want each device to be sensitive enough for the user. And it's going to create a log of the impacts that the mouthguard registers over the course of a game, a week, a season. We want to be able to provide that data to the doctors who are out there researching concussions so that we can start to draw some meaningful conclusions using quantitative data.
On top of this new technology that is set to launch early next summer, people like athletic trainer Bryce Nalepa at the Banner Concussion Center have their own methods for helping athletes.
We look at their eyes, we look at their vestibular system, and we try to look at their cognitive ability and try to bring all those parts together to determine what's affected and what maybe we can help them with in order to get them back to the field or back to school or back to life. You know, as much as we know about concussions now, that's come a long way in the last 5 years, there's still so much that we don't know. That's where the next challenge is for all of us as we move forward in this field.
And for someone who loves the sport of soccer, the risks are well worth it.
Sports are something that's so amazing, and I don't regret one bit of my injuries or playing soccer. It taught me more than anything. People tend to look at women as weaker, and we're anything but that.